Hi guys, today I am interrupting the regular scheduled Vlogmas for this video that I should have filmed months ago. I am horrible at self-promotion, which probably explains a lot. With my meteoric rise on YouTube, I do not enjoy promoting things that I've created. I love creating them, I love making the videos, I love editing the videos, I love putting them out there and talking to you guys and the interaction and all the engagement and stuff, but I hate self-promotion with a passion. And so I don't really know what I was doing agreeing to write a book. But I have written a book and now I have to promote it. So here we are. So what is the name of the book? The book is called Lifestyling. It is out on the 28th of February, but very, very important part, you can pre-order it right now. And apparently that's a big deal. Apparently that's got something to do with other people finding the book. I don't know about these things, but Amazon, they take it very seriously when people pre-order books. So if you think you may, if by the end of this you're totally sold on the concept, I would massively appreciate it if you would pre-order rather than wait until it's actually available. I mean, February is just going to be like that, isn't it? So it's called Lifestyling. This is not a secret. I have mentioned in the past that I was writing a book, and then once it was finished, and you guys may already know about it if you've watched like a lot of my other content and follow me on social media. But when I have told you bits and pieces, the number one question that's arisen has been, is it just for mums? So if you look at the cover of the book, which I'll just put in right here, it obviously has been marketed to mums. It has to be marketed at someone, and it looks like it's a style book for mums. Now, I had a baby when I was 19. You can't really escape that my perspective is that of a mum, and I've never really had another perspective as an adult. So I was finding my style as a mum, and I talk about that in the book, how I found it difficult to transition because I was an immediate parent. So I think for most people, you go through that phase of like, you're going from a teenager to an adult, and you're finding your feet a little bit, and you're finding what suits you and what works for your lifestyle and what works with your body. And I kind of fast forwarded straight to the bit where I was a mum, and usually, as I understand it, or at least in my mind how it would be, usually you would already have a sense of yourself before you got to that stage. And so that is really the part where I focus on the mum aspect of my personal experience and my journey, because I kind of skipped over that, finding myself as a person on my own. I was immediately in that phase of my life. However, the whole book is about styling the phase of life that you're in right now. Hence the name, Lifestyling. So it's not, number one, it's not just a style book, but in the elements that are kind of informational about style, finding your style, your colours, your shapes, all of that stuff, the focus is definitely on really looking at your life and deciding what would suit your lifestyle right now, rather than trying to emulate something else. Like, it took me the longest time to realize finding your style isn't actually just trying to look like someone you've seen on Instagram. Like, I would see people and I constantly felt like I was failing because I didn't look really glam. And an entire Pinterest board full of Meghan Markle from Suits wasn't really going to help me, was it? The majority of the time, I'm either in an office, very casual office, or I'm sitting at home. I don't need to be in pencil skirts and blouses. It just doesn't work for my life. And so I had to adjust my expectations of what my style is right now. In the future, maybe I'll have a high-powered job, and maybe that'll be me. Maybe 10 years ago, I was wearing, I don't know. I mean, I want to say I was wearing skimpy, more revealing clothes. But again, 10 years ago, I was still a mum. So I still was kind of battling with that what is appropriate thing, which in itself is ridiculous. But what I'm trying to say is, whoever you are reading this book, I think you will get something from it, because we kind of workshop it in the very beginning, where you look at your own life and you make some notes about what it is that you think your lifestyle is and how your wardrobe should be working for you. So it's definitely not just for mums, although there is that vibe. It's not kind of a mum style book. So why a style book? That was the other question. Some people asked me why I wouldn't do a book about beauty. I mean, I have spoken about lipsticks and eyeshadow palettes for almost 9 years now on YouTube. And I was talking to Lee the other day and I said, I don't know whether or not I would have become a beauty blogger or a beauty YouTuber if I'd known there were options. It's not like in my life I would be constantly talking about these things. I wasn't necessarily a makeup junkie before I became a beauty blogger. It was a really strange turn of events. I discovered beauty bloggers before I discovered anything else. I think the people that I was actually finding just organically, when I was looking for images and stuff, they tended to be style or lifestyle bloggers. And I never would have, I don't think I ever would have gone that way because I didn't feel all that stylish. But it is a strange thing when you look back and I'm like, well, how did that all begin? And I'm a complete beauty junkie now, but I don't feel like I'm not an expert in the field. I don't have anything or a tremendous amount to offer you apart from my opinions. And so I don't think that would have been a great read for you. Maybe we're sitting here, I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh my God, you got to try this product. It's amazing. I've loved it all year. That's completely different. I don't have the skill set for a beauty book in my mind. And so, me day to day in hoodies and sweatpants and stuff like that, you might be thinking, do you have a skill set for a style book? But for me, the whole point of it was that it's a real world style book. So we're talking about more of a lifestyle, more of a broader, varied read anyway. But I was I don't want to say I was trying to make the anti-Instagram style book, but to a degree. Not anti, because I love Instagram and I love fashion bloggers and I love drawing inspiration from all of their feeds. But I would say I'm kind of trying to pull away from that and say, okay, I love that, but remember that's them and that's not me. And if I don't look like that, that's fine. And that's kind of more what I'm trying to talk about. Not the fancy schmancy, look how sleek and glamorous I am. More of a realistic, I'm going to do the school run with no makeup on because I can't bother to put makeup on and that's not me. Or I'm going to work and I don't want to be super glammed up and I'm not wearing, a two-piece. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of more of where I'm coming from. Also, when I was contacted about writing the book, I had put a lot of prep into a blog series on exactly this topic. This time last year, I was going to revamp a Finding My Style series for my blog that I'd done a few years ago, and a couple of people had asked me to continue with it. At the time, we were kind of doing it together. We were going through the journey together. That was the idea. And I realised I wasn't quite there, and so I kind of halted it. And then last year, I felt like I'd worked through all my stuff and I felt like I had something to give and it was going to be more informational. So I already had so much prep put together for a style series before I was contacted. And that's kind of how it came together. It all felt like it was perfectly timed. So with that in mind, I know people will wonder how this came to be. I know this will enrage some of you who were would-be or aspiring authors, and I apologise because I definitely would not have been given this opportunity if I didn't make these YouTube videos. This is another part of it that I really struggle with because it is a YouTuber book and there's a massive stigma to that, and I knew that the whole time I was writing it. That was in the back of my mind. People will read this and they won't read it. If you pick up a book and you read it and you don't think anything of the person, this is different. And so I think there's swings and roundabouts to that. There's definitely benefits because I wouldn't have been able to publish this book just as easily as this if I wasn't on YouTube. But because I am on YouTube, there's already an audience ready, which again seems like a benefit. But then in my mind, I had a group of people that I was writing for rather than kind of an imaginary person. And I think the pressure was it felt more high stakes to be writing this. It also felt more high stakes because it's a different form of content than I've ever written before. I can't take this back. If I've been too candid, if I've shared too much, I talk a lot about my personal life and, parenting, marriage and divorce, relationships, friendships. I'm quite candid about how I feel about myself, and I'm really into self-help and learning about your personality and how that affects your relationships and stuff like that. So I have been quite candid about things, and I feel like as I'm talking right now, I still could say, no, do you know what? Don't put that in the book. But it's not that long until I can't do that. And that does make me really nervous. And that, I think, maybe if I didn't already have an audience on the internet, maybe that I wouldn't have felt that. Maybe that is probably the only negative to this process, and already having people there that potentially will read this book. But I do completely acknowledge that I wouldn't have had this opportunity had it not been for the fact that you guys watch my videos and have supported me this far. I obviously have made these videos for a really, really long time. And so, I have paid my dues in that way. But there are plenty of people whose all-time dream has been to write a book. And it must just real grind your gears when people get these opportunities. So I accept that. but it didn't come without its own pitfalls. So like I say, it's not just style. I have talked about other things as well. Obviously, I talk a little bit about beauty, my love of face masks, my many hair horror stories, and kind of the evolution of that. I also have some of the people who have contributed to the book. So I've got some very, very generous blogging friends of mine who have kind of weighed in on certain topics because I felt like they were so subjective, and sometimes one person's voice is not enough. You know, like I might say something's really important, and then I have 6 other people who have decided that, you know, XYZ is important to them, and they are different opinions. So I really wanted to do that to make it feel a little bit more collaborative, I suppose, but everyone's in a different phase of life. And again, I feel like it fits in with the format of the book because we've got people with no children, we've got people with grown-up children, and everyone feels differently about everything in their own different phases of life, but also with different life experiences and with their own lifestyles. You know, some people don't work, some people work full time, some people work for themselves. It was kind of, I think that's a great element of the book, and I am incredibly grateful to the people that helped me out because I felt like it took the pressure off me a little bit. Although obviously I wrote the entire book and these are just snippets that have come in, I don't know, it was an overwhelming pressure to sit down and start a book. And once I was, like I say, the pressure I think that I was putting on myself was the fact that I knew people would read this and it was all me. And although the majority of it is, I'm really grateful to the people that helped me, that allowed me to feel a little bit diluted in the process. There are also a couple of readers that shared some stories about hair loss and how that impacted their confidence. There's somebody else that has shared a story about, we had a conversation, so I suppose it's an interview, about plastic surgery because she's had a couple of surgeries and how she felt about that before and after. I think that, as I said at the beginning, anyone who reads this will take something away from it, and it is more broad than just style, and definitely more broad than just mum style. It has been a labour of love. It's not a traditional deal, in that I wasn't like handed over a wad of cash to write this book. I haven't made any money so far, and it was many hours. It was the worst possible timing as well. I just committed to so much stuff all at once, and then the school holidays. I don't know how people do these things around regular lives because I've got my regular job. The kids were off school at the point where I was like really in the thick of it. And then obviously all of the blogging and YouTube stuff as well. I kind of felt like I was going to fall apart at parts during the summer, and I really let a lot of things slide, like relationships wise, which I do believe I did talk about in the book. Once it's all completely 100% done, I'm going to sit down and read it and then be like, oh my God, I cannot convey to you the nerves, like the anxiety around people reading this book. I want you to read it. Of course I do. I wouldn't have done this if I don't want you to read it. But I suppose I put a video out there and I'm prepared for, whatever feedback comes my way. But unlike a video or a blog post or an Instagram post or whatever else is that I do, that's something that I could remove if I go, oh, do you know what? I really don't like that people don't like this. I can take it down. And this is making me like, oh my God, like, So yeah, I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to make really any money from this at all. But never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to be able to write a book. And I have not always felt the most proud of my internet career. I don't always, again, maybe this is just all stems from the self-promotion thing. But if someone says, what do you do? I would find any way of calling it something that it's not, because I think that people think it's like vapid and they just wouldn't take it seriously. And so this one opportunity has changed my whole feeling about the time that I've spent doing all of this stuff online. And I feel like it's validated everything. So even if you guys hate this book, please don't hate it. I would really like you to like this book. I'm really proud of it. But even if it's not well received, I will be proud that this has come out of all of this time online. Because, I could have just like faded into obscurity and I would have felt like, oh, that was a little blip in my regular career. What was I doing there? But because this one thing has come out of it that is basically a dream that under normal circumstances I would never have fulfilled, it feels like it was all worth it. And so I'm so grateful that they did reach out to me and that they are. I mean, let's hope they do publish this book. Let's hope. I have had things fall through before. And maybe that's another reason I haven't wanted to make a big fuss of it, because what if they don't print it? Then this video may disappear. No, I'm pretty sure. I do err on the side of pessimist with these kind of things. But I never thought I would get this opportunity. I've written everything. All the illustrations and photos are mine. I had a couple of friends help me out, take some pictures in the summertime, but nothing's been professionally done at all. Right now they're actually putting it together and kind of designing it all, and I'll have like final say on how things look. But this is everything of me went into this book. So I am really proud of it. And every time I've gone back and read through sections and chapters, I am really proud of it. I don't feel like it comes across as your average YouTuber book. I think that you could pick this up and not know who I was and really enjoy it. And I'm hoping that that is the case, which is why the pre-order thing is a really big deal. I would really love for someone to find this book and have no idea who I am. That would be my all-time dream. Obviously, alongside you guys actually enjoying it. But I do have that thing in the back of my mind. Someone was asking me earlier on whether or not I'm going to do any meetups or launch things. I don't know yet. Maybe I will. Maybe. I just feel so awkward about the whole thing when people say, I've arranged a meetup, because in my mind that is to assume that people want to meet you. To assume, oh, of course, everyone's going to want to meet me. I'm so important, I'm so great. And that doesn't sit well with me. And so the idea that someone will actually go and buy this book is outlandish enough without thinking that someone's going to buy it and enjoy it. I have tried to film this video a couple of times. You know how I can ramble and rant about makeup products. So you can imagine, like, this is a succinct version of other tries at this video. I just go off all the tangents. But really, in conclusion, I've written a book. I really, really hope that you enjoy it. I also really hope they print it. I should have a copy on my birthday. It comes out, like I say, 28th February. It's actually the 14th of February in America, because that's another thing I wanted to mention. The publisher is American, so we've had a bit of back and forth over the word mom. I mean, number one, they wanted to put posh in the tagline. I don't think it means the same thing in America as it does here. I was like, no. No, but I think I've had to concede to mom because of SEO stuff. So if you see that, that's why I didn't call myself mom. I didn't title it mom myself. That is because the publisher's American and they are trying to sell the book in America. What? The one thing that I can't, really can't, like, even, it would just blow my mind, is if the book is actually in a shop. I know it's going to be available online. A couple of people also asked whether it's going to be an actual book or like a Kindle, what is it called, an ebook. It is going to be an actual book. It's a little book. It's like a pocket guide. No, it's like, I don't know, it's like this. I don't have it yet. I can't, like, can you imagine when it arrives? My head's going to explode. But I can't imagine it being in a shop. Like, I can't, like, I think that it will be, but again, I don't know if this is why the whole pre-order thing is important. Maybe, like, if they see X amount of people are interested in the book, then they can say to Waterstones, hey, do you want to stock this book? So many people have ordered it on Amazon. So please pre-order it, because I'd really like to go and see it in a shop. That would be like life made. And also, I would like to do something in Meadowhall, because I feel like that's probably the place that I am synonymous with when it comes to like a high street place. And it's not a high street, but you know what I'm saying. So if I could go and do something where we did a meetup, it's painful, but you know, then that would be awesome too. And I don't know how to arrange these things. It's not a traditional deal. It's not a traditional publisher. It is, I feel like it's like a step up from self-publishing. Someone else has come in and said, we will do this for you, but then you're on your own. It's making me so nervous. I don't know if that's coming across. Anyway, let's finish up, because we could do this all day. I could and then another thing, all day long. It's available now. Please go and pre-order. I don't know if I've mentioned that. My editor will be super happy if you do. He might not realise that he's bet on the wrong horse, because my channel is dying, if you guys pre-order the book. That would be awesome. And also that makes it extra amazing, because I feel like I'm on my way out and I've got this like little nugget to take with me. So thanks for the love so far, and I will see you guys in the next one, which will be the continuation of Vlogmas. Every time I'm going